Greetings, 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 greetings. Grand rising, peace, love, harmony, and light. This is Chief Kalanago with a video. Man, again, it's I got on at exactly 10:10. I guess this message is right on point, right? Because they say 10:10 wins. But I'm gonna give you guys some time to chime in to this live feed. In the meantime, I would like to acknowledge the great spirit, universal intelligence, universal all. I would like to acknowledge and give thanks to my ancestors, thanking them for guidance and protection, always. Hope everybody is doing absolutely wonderful this rising of the sun. And I'm sending lots and lots and lots and lots of positive energy to you right now. Okay, so if you're in the chat and you here with me, go ahead and show some love. Greetings, 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 each and every one of you. All right, as you come in, let me just go ahead and highlight some of your comments, just to acknowledge you. Peace to you, God, as well. Peace to you as well. Greetings, 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 family. Greetings, greetings. All right. While you guys are coming in slowly but surely, I will definitely highlight your comments. Okay. Now, this video I'm doing right now, it's been something that's been weighing on my heart for a while. And I knew that it needed to be done. But for me, I move in the spirit. So I move when my ancestors have me move. And now is the right time to do this video. And it's really sad that in this day and age, we're still, those kind of videos have to be done. And I haven't seen too many of us doing it. And that's why I'm compelled to do it. Okay, if you see the title of the video, it says "Get Up and Leave," and I did that intentionally because it's kind of like a clickbait, you know what I mean? But this may not be what people are expecting today, but it is what it is. So what I'm going to talk about in this video, and I'm going to keep it short or as long as I need to, I'm going to talk about relationships. That's what I'm going to talk about. You see, a lot of times we as people, and when I say we, I'm always speaking in terms of the all. I have to keep reiterating, I don't play the color game. So I'm speaking people in general, okay? But we as people, we are all seeking healing. We are all seeking more wealth, be it spiritual wealth, mental wealth, emotional wealth, physical wealth, financial wealth. We are all seeking wealth in some type of capacity. You know what I mean? And with that being said, a lot of people want to come together, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful thing. But a lot of people are not taking the time to work on themselves. You know what I mean? And I spoke of that yesterday, where I mentioned that I have worked on my eye. Working on your eye is a continuous journey because it takes time to get to perfection. It takes time to get to perfection. You feel me? We are living in a perfect created world, but yet still imperfect because of the capabilities of us being flawed. And now I hope that makes sense. We are living in a perfect world because the world was created perfectly. However, there are perfect conditions, all right? And that's why we have to keep striving towards perfection every single second, minute, hour, day, week, month, and year. Every day, you have to work towards becoming a better you. And too many of us are forgetting that because we are focused too much on everything outside of ourselves. So today I'm going to talk about being in wealthy relationships. And when I say wealthy, the reason why I kind of like avoid using healthy is because of the word hell. You see, and now maybe it's just me. I love playing semantics with words with myself because I know that words have power. You feel me? And whatever you put out there in the universe, we have to realize that this English language, it was designed intentionally with those words and their meanings and their pronunciations, because when it comes to the universe don't know when you're joking. You feel me? The universe don't know when you're joking. The universe is the only thing in life is that's literal is the universe. The universe is literal. The universe is always in fact. So therefore, when we speak our words, we have to be literal when it comes to the universe, because the universe cannot discern between fact and fiction. You feel me? And that's what's so beautiful. Once you have a true understanding of what the universe is and how it works, then manifestation would be a wonderful thing. It will be a joyous thing, a blissful thing, a happy thing. But you have to be specific. So with me, with my words, I make a huge attempt to be specific when I'm speaking out in the universe. So that's why I don't say, I try not to say healthy because of the word hell. You feel me? Now, I know a lot of you may say, well, Chief, nah. Well, that's just me. I'm not asking anybody else to do what I do. You see what I'm saying? That's just for my own personal growth. You feel me? So when we are talking about, when I say wealthy relationships, I'm not talking about wealthy from a standpoint of financial wealth. I'm talking about spiritual wealth, mental wealth, and physical wealth. To me, those are the three most important characteristics in any relationship. But today we're going to talk about relationships where people say they're in love or they love somebody. Those are the type of relationships we're going to talk about. All right. Sexual partnership relationships. You feel me? That's what we're going to talk about. And the reason why is because too many people are in abusive relationships. Too many. And some of them know they are in abusive relationships and some of them don't know. And I'll explain to you what I mean. But before I do, let me just say this. There should be no excuse. You should not give yourself any excuses to stay in an abusive relationship, be it physical, verbal, or mental abuse. Any form of abuse, okay? I encourage you to get up and leave. I don't care what the circumstances are. Do not sacrifice your heart on a misconception or an illusion of thinking someone loved you. Because love doesn't hurt. Love should not hurt. You feel me? I hear people say, oh, I love you so much it hurt. No, that is not love. That is not love. Love was never meant to hurt. So anytime people start telling you, oh, I love you so much it hurt, man, that is a sign. Get up and leave. Yes, they love you, but they're letting you know they're planting a seed in the universe. I love you so much that it hurt. And you know what? Hurt people hurt people. So if your love is hurting somebody, trust me, that person is going to find a way to hurt you. Because hurt people hurt people. And too many of you are willing to sacrifice yourself and your heart to stay in relationships where you are being abused. There should be no excuses for that. You should always seek wealthy relationships. And once again, when I say wealth, I'm not speaking about financial wealth. And I did a video a few months back or a few weeks back, and I broke down the hierarchy, okay, of, at least to me, of well-being. And I started off with spiritual wealth. Then I got into mental wealth. Then I got into emotional wealth. Then I got into physical wealth. And finally, I got to financial wealth. As much as I speak about us or people in general, right, building their lives from a financial perspective, I know that that cannot be the number one priority in your life, because money could bring you happiness, but money could never bring you joy. You see, joy comes from within. Only you could bring yourself joy. No one could bring you joy but you. People could bring you happiness, yes, but too many times we get the two confused. They are interchangeable, I agree. But to me, they have two different meanings. One is a little more profound than the next. Joy is more profound, in my opinion, because it comes from within. It is from the soul. When someone brings you joy, they will never hurt you. But if all someone could bring you is happiness, then there's a potential that they could hurt you, because happiness is external. That love is based on everything that's external. You feel me? So I felt compelled to talk about this today. You know what I mean? And so, let me just give a few more people some shout outs. All right. So we're going to dive a little more into this, right? By me saying that love should not hurt, and that hurt people. But there's no excuses. Now let me tell you my story. Because you see, I think the number one remedy for getting yourself back on track or making yourself whole again is being honest with yourself. Now, because you're being honest with yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody have to know your business. That's not what it means. But when you have gotten to a point in your growth, you feel me? You feel comfortable by telling your story, regardless of what people think and say about you, because it's not about them. It's story may just help somebody to or ignite that change in somebody that they are so seeking. So I'm gonna tell you my story. When I was 19, I had a girlfriend, right? And yes, was I in love? Maybe I was. Did I love her? Yes. I don't know if there's a difference. Some people say there is. So anyway, that's neither here or there, right? But the point is, I care deeply about this young lady. So yes, I loved her. But she knew exactly how to get under my skin. You feel me? I lived in Brooklyn. She lived in Manhattan. So the time that we spent, it meant a lot, because, she was in school, she was in college. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of like in college, kind of like in and out, you know what I mean? Go when I want to, you feel me? That type of thing, until I decided that, that college life ain't for me. But anyway, that's not about that, right? Let me just tell you about the relationship, right? The relationship was okay. But during the week, I would, go spend time with her on her college dorm, even if I had my own place, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew she was studying and all that. So I made the attempt to go to Manhattan at least 3, 4 times a week and spend time with her. But on on the weekend, I stayed in Brooklyn and I hung out with my boys, and she didn't like that. You know what I mean? So, but she would always again complain, and get under my nerve. And one day she just came to Brooklyn and I was hanging out and literally embarrassed me in front of my friends. You know what I mean? And I got angry. Now, where did that anger come from? It wasn't something that, well, I guess it was in me because it came out, but it wasn't something that I seen because I've never seen my dad hit my mom. You know what I'm saying? Yes, of course, they had disagreements. I mean, to the point, yes, it might have gotten heated, but I have never seen my dad put his hand on my mom, and I've never heard my dad disrespect my mom. I don't know if maybe because she was a cop, she wasn't playing that. You feel me? But the point is, I never heard my father disrespecting my mother, and I've never seen my father put his hands on my mother. So, and I've never seen that in any of my family. You feel me? So I didn't come from a family where I was exposed to men abusing women or women abusing men. I hadn't seen that. So again, wherever that came from, I have to take my own responsibility for my actions, the way I reacted. So when she realized how mad that I got, the first thing came out of her mouth, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You wanna hit me?" And I'm like, in my mind, I'm confused. And that's a true story. I'm confused because I don't hit women. You know what I'm saying? But she got me so mad where she taunted me enough where I actually slapped her in her face. And now, mind you, 18 and a half going on 19, still young, about 19, yeah. And when she broke down and cried, you know what I mean? When she broke down and cried in front of my friends in public, man, it did something to me. It did something to me. It broke me. It hurt me. You see what I'm saying? And it reminded me of when your grandmother would whoop your ass and say, "Baby, this is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you." Our elders love saying that, right? And you like, well, why don't you go ahead and whoop your own ass, right? But anyway, when I saw how me hitting her broke her and made her cry, it made me feel so low. And you know what? That was a turning point for me. And I didn't know where it came from. I really meant it, but it still was no excuse. I had no reason to put my hand on that young woman at the age of 19. You know what I'm saying? The point I'm making in all this is this. Regardless of how mad anyone makes you, we have no excuses or no reason to put our hand on a woman or vice versa. A woman put her hand on a man. Again, that is just my opinion. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying all that to say is yes, we all go through these experiences, whether we call it a mistake, whatever you want to call it. Learn from your mistake. Don't let it be a part of your life. You feel me? And that's something that I promised myself at the age of 19 that I would never do again in my life. And I'm proud of that. I made that change immediately because I told myself I'd never seen anybody in my family putting their hands on women. That wasn't like me. And I wasn't going to do that again. So I'm saying today is this. I see a lot of women and even men in abusive relationships, and they refuse to get out. We're going to talk abusive relationship because you say you love him. Well, let me tell you something. You think you love him. You don't love him. And he definitely don't love you, because love shouldn't hurt. You should not put yourself in a position where you love someone so much that it's causing you pain. No, maybe you love him, but you don't love yourself. I'm going to repeat that. None of you women should put yourself in a position where you love a man so much that that love causes you pain because he's abusing you. No. Yes, you may love him. So I'm going to retract what I said about you not loving him. Yes, you may love him, but you don't love yourself. So now you have to fall back and reevaluate yourself, because it's something in you that you don't love that's allowing you to love someone more than you, to the point where it's causing you pain. And yes, you know that he's abusing you. And he keeps apologizing. And then you fall for the same trap, the same trick. He keeps doing it over and over and over again. And then you expect him to change. Well, you know he's going to change. Well, you know he was better yesterday. Well, you know it's an entire week that he hasn't cursed at me. He hasn't shouted at me. He hasn't slapped me in the face or punched me in the stomach. Or he took a glass and threw it against the wall. Or he broke my laptop. Or he broke my phone. What do you think he's going to break next? He's going to break your jaw. He's going to break a rib. He's going to break your arm. So get out. Leave while you have the chance. Now, you may find yourself telling yourself excuses, things like, well, he ain't got nowhere to go. I am all that he got. Well, if you are all that he has, then why aren't you all that he has? You see, relationships and love is a two-way street. Okay, you shouldn't be the one that's always giving and giving and giving and giving and never receiving. You're going to deplete your resources. If you have a well and you keep taking water out of the well and nothing is replenishing that well is going to dry out. And that's going to be your life. You're going to be all dried out until he cannot get anything else from you, and then go on to the next well. In other words, go on to the next woman and repeat the same thing, because that's his habit. That's his makeup. So it's not going to change. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people don't change. I'm not saying that. But give them time to change. Let them go. If they were meant to be with you, they will be with you. And I can prove that, because that's just nature. When I was younger, we used to go and hunt birds, not to kill them, but to have them as pets, right? I don't know why people do that. We go into nature, we take things out of nature, and we put them in prison, right? Just for pets. Anyway, 14, 15, the age of 10, 9, that's what we did, right? So we would go hunt birds and catch them, and we had big cages, my cousins and I, right? And we would put those birds in cages and we would feed them. We took care of our birds. I mean, we loved our birds. You feel me? They even had names. And once we felt that the birds became domesticated, we opened the cages, and guess what? The birds would always fly, but they always came back home. I'm going to repeat that. The birds would always fly away. We give them the opportunity. I mean, yes, we let them go. Open up the cage. Go ahead. Go into nature. Fly around. But guess what? They always came back. They came back on their own. The point I'm making is, if you are in a relationship and it's not working, it's bad, that man, that woman has been domesticated, but they are abusing you. Let them go. Let them go. And if they're meant for you after they have built themselves, after they have remedied themselves, if they were meant for you, they will come back. And it's the same situation. Men end up in abusive relationships as well, because I was in one. You feel me? It wasn't physical to the extent where I was hurt, but it was mental. It was verbal. And some people say, you see how we are taught things, little cliches that we are taught to get us prone or conditioned to abuses. Because we would hear people say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will do me no harm. That's not true. That's emphatically false. Because words hurt you more than the sticks and the stones that they break your bones with. You feel me? And that I know is a fact. You dig? So I think we should kind of like rephrase this and say something like this. Words will break me, but your sticks and stones will not, because that's just true. Those bruises might be temporary, but when somebody hurts you deep, that could be something eternal if you don't remedy yourself. So I tell people, I would prefer you not slap me at all, but I would rather, if I have a choice, if I had to make a choice and my life depended on it, I would rather you slap me than hurt me with those words. You feel me? Because words are very powerful. Many people don't know that. And because people have been programmed to think that, yes, sticks and stones will break my bones, but your words could do me no harm. No, words are the ones that do the most harm. You feel me? So it's the same situation. Man, if you are in abusive relationships, come on, man. Walk away. Walk away, man. Don't put yourself in a position because she might be doing for you. No, it's time to get up and you do for yourself. Because you see, men get abused as well. For the most part, it's normally mentally and verbally. And for the women, it's actually, and also emotionally. But for the women, it's more, it's also emotional. It's also mental, and it's more so physical. So either way we look at it, whether it's from a man getting hurt or a woman being in an abusive relationship, I am pleading to y'all, get out. It is not wealthy. You feel me? It is not. And that's just people who know they are in abusive relationships. Let's talk about the people who don't know they are in abusive relationships. Now, some people may say, well, Chief, you know what? How could they not know? Well, guess what? You see, when something is your norm, in other words, you grew up in an environment where you see your father, your mother fighting all day, every day, they abusing each other, then that becomes your norm. So now you go into a relationship thinking that hurting a woman, beating on a woman, or beating on a man, or always cursing a man is normal. No, it's not normal. Love should not hurt. You feel me? Love should not hurt under any circumstances. So stop fooling yourself and thinking that you could love somebody to the point where they could beat you half to death or got you so scared you don't know when they're going to punch your lights out, but yet still you love them. No, let it go, man. Let it go. Leave. This is one situation where I'll say, I'm not going to tell you stay because I ain't got a place for you to live. The truth is, I still don't have a place for you to stay. But I would rather be living on the streets. And that's just real talk. I would rather be living on the streets than be in a home with someone that's abusing me. You feel me? I would rather be living on the streets than be in a home that's with someone that's feeding me, but at the same time abusing me. At some point, you got to grow up and say, no, enough is enough. I'm not going to tolerate any form of abuse, because you see, that's what abusers do. All right? They are very charismatic with the words. You feel me? They are very charismatic with the words. Oh yes, definitely. I spoke of emotional abuse. Absolutely. You feel me? Any form of abuse. And these people, they would go ahead and hurt you in the most profound way. And 2 minutes later, they profess how much they love you. Oh, I didn't mean to do it. Oh, it's because I love you. I had to hurt you. Man, listen. Let me tell you something, man. I've been fortunate, like I said, to grow up with both my parents. You know what I mean? And I was fortunate enough to not see that type of abuse or not experience it. You feel me? Like I said, yes, was there disagreements? Hey, that's life. But I was fortunate. So I don't know your life story. I don't know your secret, and I'm not here to judge you. That's not what this is. I am here to encourage you to judge yourself. It is not in my position to judge you. I am not worthy to judge you. You feel me? That is you. You have to evaluate your situation and be the judge and the jury of your own situation. If you think a man, if you are a woman, and you think a man that's abusing you, whether it may be any type of abuse, you think he's going to stop. Because one day he tell you, oh, I apologize and I love you. And the next day he does it, and it's a continuous cycle, and you think it's going to stop. No, it's not going to stop. One day, your family, your friends, your relatives may be calling your phone, and they might not get a response or an answer because that man killed you. Okay? Vice versa. Men, all right? If you're in a, most likely, like I said, for men, I know women who abuse men physically, but for men, it's more so mental and emotional. If you are in any type of relationship where it's mental or emotional abuse, leave. You know why? Because that's gonna make you bitter. You feel me? That's gonna put you in a position to go out there and reflect that new relationship, okay, from the last one that you had, and then you're gonna abuse that other woman that you're with. Now, I'm not saying that's always gonna be the case, but there's a potential. You feel me? There's a potential. So on wealthy relationships, you have to let that go. Let it go. It is not good for you. And that's the reason why so many of us are hurting others, because hurt people hurt people. And unless you find within yourself, you have found that place of well-being, where you have remedied yourself, where you have forgiven yourself, where you have forgiven the person. Now that person also have to forgive themselves. So you go ahead and forgive yourself. You know what? It is not your responsibility to forgive them. However, it's your responsibility to forgive yourself for two reasons. One, if you are the abuser, you have to forgive yourself for that. And if you're the one being abused, you also have to forgive yourself for that. Why? Because you have allowed yourself to be the one being abused. So you see how forgiving is powerful. But I encourage you to get up and walk away. Don't love people more than they love you. Don't do that. It is a two-way street. Can you imagine being on the highway where it's a two-way street and all of a sudden the road closes and all the cars are coming towards each other because now it turned into a one-way street? Do you know what's going to happen? There's going to be a collision. There's going to be an accident. It's the same thing with your relationships. At first, it starts off as a two-way street. Oh, he loves me. Oh, she loves me. Yes, you're doing stuff for him. He's doing things for you. All of a sudden, that relationship starts becoming a one-way street. One person starts doing more than the next. It started with 50-50. Then it's a 60-40. Then it's a 70-30. Then it's an 80-20. And you realize you're consumed in a relationship. Now you feel obligated to be doing everything. If you don't do it, then you get abused. You are heading for disaster. You are heading for a collision. So get out. Get out. So I'm not going to prolong this message. I think I've made my point. There is no excuses whatsoever to be in an abusive relationship. None. Don't listen to your girlfriends. Oh, well, you know he's this and he's going to change. I know him, and just give him some time. No, don't give him any time. Men, same way. I don't care how good it is. I don't care how she make you feel in bed. Get out of that abusive relationship. You see, we have to get to a point where we have to work on self-well-being. And that's why I always tell people, I have worked on my eye, and I will not get into a we situation when the we people, they are not remedied. You feel me? I'm not going to do that. It's like taking all your good apples and putting it in a basket filled with bad apples and expect your apples not to be rotten. No, I'm not doing that, man. I'm not doing that. Because you see, a lot of people hit me up, Chief, we need to do this, we need to do that. Let's come together, let's all get land. And that's cool, I still want to do that. But I want to know who or whom I'm going to be landing with. You heard what I said? And let me tell you, I don't pre-write these things. I just flow with the Spirit and in the Spirit. Because when you speak and you speak from your heart, you don't need to write a script. The script is already written in you. So I'm going to say this again. A lot of people are hitting me up, Chief, we need to get land and all come together, get some land and live on the land. But this is what I told myself. I'm not going to do that with anybody and everybody, because that landing could be dangerous. That landing could be catastrophic. Because you see, when you're in a plane, your pilot has to land the plane. And if I don't know the pilot, or I don't know that the pilot is within his or her competent mind, you may have a crash. You feel me? So if there's no trust in that relationship, then don't expect a smooth landing. So I'm not going to be on land with just anybody and everybody. No, I want to know you, not how you look. No. or not just what you tell me. No, I want to know your integrity. I want to know your heart. I want references. You feel me? We cannot and we should not build on shaky grounds moving forward. We have to build on solid grounds. Know who you are building with. Know who you are landing with. Period. Because people will tell you anything because it sounds good. Nah, I ain't doing that, man. That's why I tell people I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. So until then, I will not be getting land just with anybody. Because even with the type of energy that's on that land, when we plant our seeds and our fruits and our food, it's not going to grow because we are not equally yoked. So I'm not in haste. I'm not in a rush to do anything because what's going to happen will happen anyway. So I'm not going to rush it. Period, point blank. Nah, I need to get to know you, fam, and get to know me, vice versa. That's why my life is an open book. So when you come into this situation and you are landing with me, you know Chief Kalanago is solid. You know he's one of the real ones. Loyal, trustworthy, respectful, honorable, a man of integrity. Period, point blank. Because I've walked through the fire. I have put my life out there, nothing to hide. You know what? Because guess what? You know why I did all that? Is because I know that no one could judge me but me. They could talk, yes, but they're not hurting me. They think they're hurting me. They think they're scandalizing my name. Nah, only me could do that because I know my worth. I know my value. I know who I am. And people have watched me grow. You feel me? And I appreciate everyone who appreciates my journey. I even appreciate those who don't. Because you made me realize that I became a better man. And I'm a whole lot better man than a lot of you that's out there still hating on me. You feel me? And I'm not saying this to impress you. I'm saying this to impress upon you that you have to make the changes within you. You feel me? You have to make the changes within you. Oh, trust me, sis. I had to be celibate for 3 years. 3 years. People thought I was crazy. And when I told people, guess what? I was in a relationship. I was in a relationship when I decided to be celibate. The woman thought I was crazy. But I said, guess what, sweetheart? This is not for you. It may seem selfish, I agree. But this is about my journey. It's not about yours. And she just couldn't get it. But I got it. 3 years. Something came in me and said, Chief, you need to be celibate for 3 years because you need to work on you. So I commend you for achieving your 1 year. And I didn't say my 3 years to take away from your 1 year. I just want you to know that it's a beautiful thing. And I commend you for that. Me mentioning my 3 years wasn't meant to take away from your shine. Sister, I commend you for that. I just want you to know that some of the things that we have to do to better ourselves, sometimes you have to get away from everyone. Let me tell you, like I tell people, y'all don't know my journey. People may not know what I'm made of or how I became who I am today. Is because I had to go through it. And that's why I tell people the allegorical story of Jesus. I don't care whether it's came from the sky daddy, because there's no sky daddy. That's not the point. The point is I got the message. And I used to be Jesus. And now I'm anointed. I am Christ. And that's what a lot of people are not getting. You feel me? A lot of people are not getting that. I had to go through the 3 years of celibacy. I took 6 months. I was good. You feel me? A lot of people don't know. Just a couple years ago, and I'm not turning this into a story of me, and I'm not looking for pity. I never look for that. No. I tell you my stories because I want you to know that we all have to go through that crucifixion. We all have to bear that cross. We all have to carry our cross. And even while you're carrying your cross, they're going to spit on you. They're going to keep tearing you down. And when they pull up that cross and they hang you on that cross, and if that's not bad enough, they're going to take that spear and shove it through your side. And just to confirm that you were dead, they're going to take vinegar and put it in that wound so that you would give out your last breath. That's how I know I am and I was Jesus. And I came out of that and I was resurrected and I became the Christ. But I had to do it. I stayed in a basement and people ridiculed me. Oh, you ain't got a home, you stay in the basement. It's cool. I was cool with that. Guess what? In the basement, I had a toilet, but I didn't have a standing shower or even a bath. And I had to run a hose in another little back room and hang that hose and take my shower on bare concrete, roaches on the wall. And I found a new respect for roaches. I mean, it's crazy. It might sound crazy to y'all, man, but this is my story. You feel me? Take a bucket sometimes. Sometimes the water would, yes, it got warm. Sometimes it didn't. But I would still take my shower. But yet still, when I leave that basement, I am well dressed. I walk with my head high. But nobody knew that because I was still doing videos, encouraging people and building people. But yet still, I didn't have a home. Well, I had a home, but it wasn't the typical home that people would call a home. I didn't even have a stove. You feel me? I had to eat out the majority of the times until I was able to buy a hot plate. You feel me? Until I was able to buy a hot plate to cook some food. But for an entire year, I stayed in that basement because I couldn't afford an apartment. And my boy said, hey, you know what, man? I got you. It may not be the best condition, but if you're good with it, the basement is yours. And for an entire year, that's what I did. And when I left Brooklyn, I knew that I was on my journey from there. And I did the videos to show, you know what I'm saying? Always telling my story. And the next journey was Missouri, in the mountains, in the land. Shout out to my brother Willie, all right? Billy out there that have the land. He said, Chief, I see your videos, and man, you do so much for the people, and they're not giving you back what you deserve, brother. My land is yours. You have a home here. And I left half my stuff in that basement. Even up to this present day, it's still in the basement. You feel me? And I went to Missouri, up in the land. I was on 22 acres. People could still probably remember the story. 22 acres by myself. All right? he had 22 acres, and his trailer was at least, I would say, about maybe 200 feet, 200 to 300 feet away from me. But I was on literally 10 acres by myself in my own trailer that he gave me. He said, Chief, man, listen, if this is what it is. And if you cannot stay, I get it, brother, because I invited a couple of brothers and they couldn't even make it a week or 2 weeks. They just couldn't do it. I said, brother, you know what? I'm going to hang in there. And you know what, family? For 6 months in that cold, and I'm talking about cold, man, woo, 6 months in that cold. You see, y'all don't know. Now, how did we get from abusive relationships to what I'm talking about? You see, it's all part of the healing, the well-being process. That's the reason why I'm telling you this. Not for pity and not to impress you, but to impress you, you have to heal yourself. You feel me? And let me tell y'all something. All right? Thank you, I appreciate that. Let me tell y'all something. When I got on that land, my brother Billy, he didn't think I was going to last 6 months. He thought I was going to come. In fact, when I showed up, he was surprised because he invited brothers to come help him build. And the majority of the people didn't show up. 2 of them showed up, right? But in a week, 2 weeks, they were gone. And I told myself, you know what? This is my self-remedy. Whatever it was, I was growing. You did. And family, let me tell y'all something. That trailer was all dirty and messed up and junk all over the place. Here's the worst part about it. There was no bathroom. There was no toilet. There was no shower. Now, that's when, guess what? I appreciated that basement. But when I got on that land, man, I appreciated that basement so much you didn't even know. Because I went from taking showers with a bucket and a hose on bare concrete with roaches watching me to now where I have no shower. Now I had no stove. Now I had no bathroom. You feel me? Now, not having a TV didn't bother me because prior to that, I had given up TVs 10, 15 years ago. I had given that up. So not having a TV, that didn't bother me at all. But the amenities of just what you need, I didn't have that. And I didn't look at it as my life depreciating. I didn't look at it as situations getting worse. No. I looked at it as me becoming a better man. You feel me? That's why I tell folks, we should not allow our circumstances to make us who we are or who we choose to become. And I stayed on that land. And don't get me wrong, every day was a challenge. Every day I tell myself, nah, I'm going back. Guess what? I keep telling myself, nah, I'm going back into the city. This ain't for me. But that other little voice came in and said, no, Chief, you need this. All right? You want the city, but you need this life. I'm going to repeat that. Something was telling me in me, no, go back to the city. That's what you want. But no, that voice of discernment in me told me, nah, this land right here, this not having a bathroom, a toilet, electricity, this is what you need. Go through it. And I made up my mind. I'm not going to give up. And let me tell y'all something. The trailer was long. I even did videos. It was dirty. I took the time. I cleaned it out. One day at a time. Electricity that we were getting it from a pole. All right? And it wasn't on a monthly basis. It was pay as you go. So whatever you use, that's what you pay for. Let me tell y'all something. In less than 2 hours, my electrical bill was already almost $100. So I had to make a determination. You don't have a job, and that's fine. I never liked jobs anyway. You feel me? I was doing videos and people would give a little donation here or there. Trust me, man, it was nothing to change my situation, but I still appreciated the $5 to $10 from the few that did it. So don't think I'm ungrateful. I'm grateful for that. You feel me? But the point I'm making is this. I couldn't use electricity. Well, you know what? I could, but I chose not to because I couldn't have afforded it. So I decided to stay and let that trailer be cold all winter. And the entire trailer had a little laundry room, very, very small, where I could fit a couch, where I'm 6'1", and I couldn't lay down on the couch comfortably because my legs was on my feet, had to tip over on the armrest of the couch because I was too tall for the couch. But you know what? I wasn't complaining. That was my bed. And the reason why I stayed in that small laundry room where I could literally only put a couch, a little desk, and a heater, that's all I could have put in there. If I put anything else, I wouldn't be able to move. The point I'm making is, in that entire trailer, I made that little laundry room my home. You feel me? The trailer was the house, but that laundry room was my home. And I put a heater in there because I couldn't put it in the rest of the trailer because it wasn't heating it up enough. And plus, I didn't want a $300 bill. I couldn't afford it. You feel me? I had a little electric stove. And I could only cook one time for the day. And then let it last for a day or two. The beauty about it is it was cold. So I would take my food, put it in a bowl, and put it outside. So it stayed in the cold so that it could be preserved. You see, y'all don't know. And I'm telling you that not for pity. I'm telling you all this to show you when you have to build yourself and find yourself, you have to go through the fire, people. But let me tell y'all something. That was one of the most beautiful time in my life on that land because guess what? During the day, I stepped out into nature. At night, I stepped out into nature. When I was in New York and New Jersey, I couldn't see the stars. I couldn't count the stars because it was too many lights in the city. But on that land, I could look up in the sky and count the stars. And it reminded me of my childhood. It was in my midst of not having anything or everything physically to find everything emotionally and find myself spiritually. Man, can you imagine that? I didn't have the physical necessities. I didn't have the comfort. I didn't have the amenities. I didn't have that. But I found myself and I had everything that I needed. I was joyous. I had joy. You feel me? I don't know if that makes sense to some of y'all. But I stayed on that land for 6 months. You feel me? And here's what a lot of you don't know. To use the bathroom, I had to go into the bushes to use the bathroom. That was a few years ago. See, people don't know because I didn't have a flushing toilet. I had to go squat down in the bushes to go to the bathroom. Every time I want to take a leak, I have to go next to a tree. I used to hug trees and listen to trees. And even one day I heard a tree talk back to me. Now, some of you may think that's crazy, but you see, that's just my journey. And every day, my brother Billy would come and say, Every 2 weeks or whatever, he say, man, I have respect for you. Nobody has come here and lasted 3 weeks, and I stayed for 6 months. No shower, no bathroom, no stove, just a hot plate. I had to cook one day for, let it last for 2 days. Sleeping on a couch. I couldn't turn the heater on all day. I couldn't turn the heater on all day because the bill was too high. So I would turn it on a little bit. Hopefully it lasted a couple of hours. You feel me? At night, I heard animals on the trailer running up and down, but I wasn't scared. I found peace. I found my moment of bliss. I truly found myself. And when I was good, I told brother, I said, listen, it's time for me to go. Moral of the story is this. Moral of the story is this. You have to take time to find yourself. And that's why I tell folks today, I found the I in me. And I have so much respect for the I in me. I'm not the flesh. The flesh is just the host. The flesh is just the avatar that's hosting the I in me. And I have so much respect for the I in me that I will not take the I in me and go put it in a we that's damaged. No, I worked too hard. I sacrificed too much to find myself. That's why I'm not in a rush to be anywhere with people who refuse to work on themselves and become better people. And that's my story. You see, hurt people hurt people. And that's why I don't hurt people. That's why I respect people. That's why I honor people. And that's why I love people. Because all those things, I got it for myself. I love myself. I love me more than anything in the world. I have respect for me more than anything or anyone in the world. I have more integrity in me than I choose to have in anyone else. Because if you cannot find it in you, you will not find it in anyone else. If you cannot love you, you cannot love anyone else. I have to be my biggest critic. I have to judge myself. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still growing. But I'm in a place where even if I'm here on earth, I know what heaven feels like because I got joy within me. And that's why when all the attacks was coming, they couldn't take me down. Many tried, but I'm a giant. I'm a God walking among men. So I encourage you to find yourself. Walk away from those abusive relationships. Find yourself. Love yourself. Embrace yourself. Give yourself a hug once in a while. You got 2 arms. And for those of you who don't, man, I have seen people without arms hug themselves. And ask myself, and when I saw that, it blew my mind. It amazed me because it's all mental. I could tell by the gesture that they made. How could someone without arms hug themselves? But it was all mental. And that's why the mind, your mind, is the most powerful thing that you have. You feel me? So I'm going to leave you with this. If you are in any kind of abusive relationship, because don't forget, you could be in an abusive relationship with yourself because you think you don't deserve the best. You think you don't deserve love. That's being abusive to yourself. Get out of that relationship with yourself. You feel me? Get out. You see, it's not just with just people. It's also with yourself, which is the most significant relationship you could ever get into, is the one with yourself. And you could be abusive to yourself and think it's okay. You could convince yourself that abusing yourself is good, it's righteous, it's moral. But I'm here to tell you, walk away from that. Get out of yourself and learn to remedy yourself. And once you have done that, you will be able to love others, and others will be able to love you the way you need to be loved. But it starts with you. Okay? No, this is not the video I got up and planned to do today, but that's the one that resonated with my spirit. Too many of you are sacrificing your heart to be in abusive relationships because people tell you they love you. They don't love you. It's an illusion. Love isn't supposed to hurt. You feel me? So I'm here to tell you today, right now, that Chief Kalinago love y'all. And that's why I do what I do. I want nothing but the best for you. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. Maybe later today, I will do another video talking about wealth. And I'm talking about financial wealth. I'll do that later. But for now, I just felt like I had to put this message out there. You deserve the best. Don't let anybody shortchange you. How would you feel if you go to the store and you paid for an item that's only $9.95, but you gave them a $50 bill and they shortchange you? They give you back $10 change. You bought an item. Listen to what I'm saying. Hear me. You walked into the store and you bought an item for $10. You gave them $50 and they give you $10 change. That means they short you an entire $20. You would raise hell. You want to fight. You want to call the police. But yet still, when people shortchange you with your heart and your love, you allow them to do that. Don't allow people to shortchange you no more. Raise hell. Fight. And I'm not talking about physical fighting now. I'm talking about fight for yourself. Now, if you have to defend yourself, that's a whole different story. We're not going to get into that. But don't allow anybody to shortchange you. Anybody. Too many women are looking for men to place rings on their fingers and not their hearts. I'm going to repeat that. Too many women are looking for men to put rings on their fingers and not their hearts. And I'm going to leave it as that. Vice versa. It goes for men too. Y'all be good to yourselves before you go out there telling people you want to be good to them. You are lying to yourself. And furthermore, you are lying to people. Y'all have a great continuation now. Peace.